Thank you so much, Steph. We are about 6 hours into day one of the province's new stay-at-home order. And despite many Ontarians saying the new rules are confusing, Premier Doug Ford is defending the plan.
There is no confusion here. It's very simple. Stay home. Stay home. That's it. If you're questioning, should I go out? You got the answer. Stay home. Restez à la maison.
Even in French. All right, so Ford says it is up to every individual to decide if leaving the house is essential, like accessing health care, shopping for groceries, or getting exercise. Gatherings are now limited to 5 people outdoors, and non-essential stores must limit their hours between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. But essential retailers are exempt from that rule. And this comes as new modeling numbers showing the virus is quickly spreading, with deaths on the rise, especially in long-term care homes. The opposition is calling the situation unacceptable.
It is now absolutely a humanitarian crisis. We're saying to Doug Ford, do the right thing by these vulnerable people.
The province says its new target is to vaccinate every resident, staff, and essential caregiver in long-term care homes across Ontario by February the 15th, with the deadline for hotspots like Toronto and Peel by January 21st. Meantime, many feel like they are still in the dark when it comes to just how these new stay-at-home orders are going to be enforced.
At this point, I would say it's no more than any other. If you're on the street walking somewhere, I think the assumption is going to be that you're going, you're following the rules in regard to essential travel. And I would expect that we are not going to be stopping people on the street and demanding papers.
Now, as it stands, police officers or other provincial officers who believe that an individual has committed an offence may require the individual to provide the officer with their correct name, date of birth, and address. And everyone is required to comply. But during the provincial briefing yesterday afternoon, there was a much more powerful tone coming from the Solicitor General. Have a listen to this.
If you are not at your place of residence and you need to be fined or you will be ticketed as a result of the orders, they have an obligation to ask for your name, date of birth, and address.
Okay, so the fine for failing to wear a mask or social distancing is $750. Organizers of parties or gatherings could face penalties of up to $10,000. And corporations caught breaking the rules could see fines of up to $10 million. Now, we're going to bring you to a live look at a favorite spot for a lot of people, and it's a live look right by the Toronto sign, Nathan Phillips Square, where we all know is a skating rink is there. It's one of the few places still allowed to remain open under these stay-at-home orders. Others include snowmobile, cross-country, and snowshoe trails. These types of facilities, they can stay open for the purpose of getting exercise outdoors. Look at the Zamboni Go, fresh ice. Now, what about playgrounds and basketball courts? Well, those are still open as well. We're live right now at David Crombie Park Basketball Court, which is along the Esplanade. The province maintains that exercise is considered an essential reason to leave home, but you must comply with those outdoor gathering limits of just 5 people. And don't forget that mask as well as social distancing. Now, officials here in Toronto are saying that they need more information from the province when it comes to the new rules.
Literally, the best information we have right now comes off a media release and a slide deck. And it simply is not the technical detail that we need in order to assess or understand that.
Last summer, Toronto residents saw parks and playground closures before they slowly reopened, including, remember those, drawing the circles for social distancing? Yeah, this winter, tobogganing hills, they've been really busy. Social distancing has been lax at some dog parks, but while there may be some confusion about the rules, Mayor Tory has a simple message for everyone.
Well, I've had people suggest that if I put an F-bomb in the middle of the sentence saying stay home, that this would maybe get people's attention, because it's a very simple message, really.
Okay, and coming up at 7 o'clock, we are going to be hearing live from Mayor John Tory for his weekly check-in with us about the new lockdown and how it's going to affect those living here in the city, and as well the enforcement of what it's going to look like here at this level. Well, a grassroots movement is underway right now to help save an Eglinton West community known as Little Jamaica. City News reporter Tina Yazdani here now with more details.
a decade of transit construction and now almost a year of a pandemic. With vast developments on the horizon on Eglinton West, advocates and community groups warning the changes could destroy the identity and character of Little Jamaica. The city asking the province for help to protect the businesses in the area, particularly the Black-owned businesses that have survived through the crosstown LRT construction and are now facing the devastating consequences of COVID-19.
The shameful trend has always been that whenever there was an expressway or gentrification coming into a neighborhood, Black neighborhoods, Black communities were often the first ones to be displaced.
A team consisting of city staff with advice from local groups now building a plan to ensure that doesn't happen. The city looking at options like tax incentives, licensing breaks, financial relief for businesses, and they're working with the province to consider commercial rent control. Tonight on City News at 5 and 6, we speak with a community group in the area that is releasing a report today on housing affordability in the neighborhood and how that could protect Little Jamaica.
And of course, that was Tina Yazdani reporting for us here from City News. So, history made in Washington yesterday as the House impeaching Donald Trump for a record-setting time.
The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi with the official word a week after the attack on Capitol Hill, killing at least 5. The actual reason for the impeachment? Incitement of insurrection. 7 days earlier, the crowd, fired up by the president's speech, storming the building. 10 Republicans broke rank with their party and joined the Democrats for yesterday's vote. While U.S. troops patrolled the halls of the Hill ahead of that vote, Trump released a video condemning last week's violence.
No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence. Those who engaged in the attacks last week will be brought to justice. Now I am asking everyone who has ever believed in our agenda to be thinking of ways to ease tensions, calm tempers, and help to promote peace in our country.
Okay, so what's next? The matter, well, it's going to now go to the Senate for a trial, which is not likely to happen before the president leaves office on Wednesday. If the Senate does find Trump guilty, he could be barred from ever running for elected office again. He has hinted at a 2024 bid. And coming up at 8 o'clock, we're going to be checking in with CNN's Whitney Wild live in Washington to talk about the president's historic second impeachment and what the days ahead could be looking like. And back here at home, isolation during the pandemic is taking more of a toll on some communities than others. What more could be done to support people's mental health during this pandemic? A professor, from U of T will be joining me with some advice coming up at 6:30, and as mentioned, the mayor at 7 o'clock. And next, it's no surprise really, but office vacancy rates in Toronto, they are continuing to climb during this pandemic. And just how high? 680 senior business editor Mike Eppel, he's next. He's got the answer.